Example is to solve y plus 5 power 2 equals 121. As we see, we have a power 2 on this left hand side. So to get rid of this power 2, we have to take the square root of both sides. We're going to take square root for the left hand side, square root for the right hand side. This square root will remove the power 2 on the left hand side to keep it y plus 5. And on the right hand side, any number positive or negative square root, and the square root of 121 is 11. So I have now y plus 5 equals positive 11 or y plus 5 equals negative 11. Now I'm going to solve this equation and this equation, and this would be y equals, I will subtract 5 on the other side, this would be 6, and I will subtract here also 5 on the other side to be negative 16. Now I have two solutions for this equation. The solutions are negative 16 and 6, and this will be the final answer for this. Another example, I have 4x squared minus 12x equals 0, and I want to solve. So again, we need to find the value of x, or the values of x, and then we need to check our solution. To solve this type of questions, remember when we learned how to factorize the polynomial. Can we take any common factor between this term and this term? Yes, we can. Between 4 and 12, the greatest common factor is 4, and between x squared and x, the common factor is x. Now I open a bracket and write what remained after I took 4x squared. I took 4x outside. I have only left with x, and 12x divided by 4x is 3, and this is equal to 0. We have something called the zero product property that states that if two numbers or two polynomials or two terms multiplied by each other equals 0, this means that either the first one equals 0 or the second one equals 0. Now I'm left with two equations. I will solve to find x from each equation. 4x equals 0, I will divide 4 on both sides, so this will be 0 over 4 equals 0. And here I'm going to add 3 on both sides, and this will be x equals 3. So the solutions that I have here are 0 and 3. These are now look at this example. We have to solve and to find the x value of x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Again, the factoring rules that we have learned. Do we have any common factor between the three terms? No, we do not. So can we factor it into two brackets to be equal to 0? Yes, I have to put here an x and x. Here is minus, and this is plus and minus. The two numbers whose product is 8 and their sum is 2 is positive 2 and negative 4. Now I have again the zero product property, which is if two brackets multiplied by each other equals 0, then either the first bracket equals 0 or the second bracket equals 0. This gives me x equals, I will subtract 2 on the other side, so x equals negative 2, and here I will add 4 on the other side. This will be x equals 4. So the solutions for this is negative 2 and positive 4. Now let us check our solution. To check our solution, I'm going to substitute the values for negative 2 and the value for 4 in this equation and to find if it will be equal to 0 or not. First, for the negative 2, for x equals negative 2, let us check this polynomial. X squared, which is negative 2 power 2, is 2 times negative 2 minus 8. I want to check if it is equal to 0 or not. If you put this on the calculator, you will have here 4. Of course, it will be positive because the power 2 removes the negative. And here's also negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then minus 8. Of course, 4 plus 4 is 8 minus 8 equals 0, and this is correct. Also for x equals the 4. Let us check for x equals 4. So here we have x squared, that is 4 squared, minus 2 times 4 minus 8. Is it equal to 0 or not? 4 power 2 is 16, minus 2 times 4 is 8, minus 8. Of course, 16 minus 8 is 8, 8 minus 8 is 0, and this is also correct. So my solutions are right. Now look at this example. We have 49 minus x squared equals 0. We need to solve to find the value for x. Here we have only two terms, and it's a minus between this, and this reminds me of the difference between squares, which is a squared minus b squared, that is factored into a plus b times a minus b. So I'm going to factor this using this rule. So this will be factored into the square root of 49, that is 7, minus square root x squared, and 7 plus x is equal to 0. Again, the zero product rule gives me that 7 minus x equals 0, or 7 plus x equals 0. So 7 minus x equals 0. If I want x to be positive, I'm going to change the place of x. So negative x will be added to the other side, and this will be 7 equals x, or x equals 7. On this equation, I have x positive, so I will just subtract 7 on the other side to give me x equals negative 7. So my solutions here are, the solutions are 7 and negative 7. Okay, if I want to check again, I'm going to substitute for 7 the first time. If x equals 7, let us check the solution or the equation itself. 49 minus x squared, is it equal to 0? Of course, 49 minus 49 is 0. Also, for x equals negative 7, is 49 minus negative 7 power 2 equals 0? Of course, negative 7 power 2 is 49. So 49 minus 49 is again equal to 0. Now, our last example is this equation. I want to solve for y, to find the value of y. First of all, when I look at this equation, it is not written in standard form. The first thing to do is to write this in standard form. And to do this, I will subtract 45 on the other side to make it equal to 0 on the right-hand side. This equation will look like this: 25y squared minus 60y and plus 81 minus 45 equals plus 36. And this is equal to 0. Now, when I look at the trinomial, and remember when we said how to factorize a trinomial, first of all, is there a common factor between the three terms? No, there isn't a common factor. Okay, the second thing, I check, is this a perfect square trinomial or not? Perfect square trinomial. How to check the perfect square trinomial? Don't remember? Okay, there are three conditions that must be satisfied. The first condition is that the first term is a perfect square. If it is yes, I write in a bubble here, I write its square root. The second condition is the third term a perfect square. If the answer is yes, write its square root in a bubble above it. The third condition is the middle term, 2 times the first bubble times the second bubble, yes or no. And of course, the answer is yes. So that the three conditions are satisfied. This means that this is a perfect square trinomial that will be factorized into one bracket. And I put a power 2 up here, and I write what is inside this bubble and what is inside this bubble, and I write the middle sign of the middle term. And this is equal to 0. So now I have 5y minus 6 power 2 equals 0. This means 5y minus 6 times 5y minus 6, and this is equal to 0. From the zero product property, this gives me that 5y minus 6 equals 0, or again, it's repeated, so it's only one solution, and the solution here will be, I will solve this equation by adding 6 on the other side. This will be 5y equals 6, and then dividing by 5, this will give me 6 over 5. So the solution y equals 6 over 5 is the only solution. It's only one solution here for this example.